off too. Hello, everybody. Nothing like a little excitement coming back from the new year and starting our shows off already. Here we go. So if you're not seeing me with a green necklace on, you're watching last week's show. So refresh and come to this week, and we're happy to have you. So just for you to know, my name is Marilyn Shannon. I am the host of the Breaking Free Show, and I want to introduce Amnon. Hello there.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm just fine. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. Good to see you.
Yeah,
We've
year.
taken a couple of weeks off.
Yeah.
Tooken.
It was all right.
It was?
Yeah.
Just all right?
It was great.
It was great. Well, I had a good time. So I spent some time with my family, did a lot of preliminary work and getting ready for the shows and all the other work that I do. And I hope you all spent a marvelous new year and have some great goals for the upcoming year and cheered 2013, because why not? Everything we do should be cheered, and we're happy to have you here. As always, we have either we have a great topic to discuss, you and me, or we have some great guests, and today is one of those days that we have some great guests. And if you are listening to me and you'd like to take part in our chat, because there's a lot of other people in there, and they write questions, they comment back and forth, please feel free to do that. You'll see a little line. It says name, nickname, put your name in there. Click OK, and you'll be part of the chat so you can see what other people are remarking about. And you can always, always, always call us at 919-518-9773 anytime during the show. And, let us know what you're up to and, whatever experiences you're having with whatever we're talking about. We'd love to have you do that. Or if you are somewhere in Timbuktu and have no phone, you are more than welcome to Skype in with us on computers. That's plural, 2K Voice, and you will come in on Skype. So with that, in starting today's show, I want to start with a quote, and this is it. It is time for us to stand and cheer for the doer, the achiever, the one who recognizes the challenge and does something about it. And that's Vince Lombardi. And when I think of that quote and I think about our guests, I almost want to cry. Because you have these people out there, and, some people complain about what other people are doing. People complain about what's not being done. People make all kinds of things about this. They make up that. But now we have these two people who are really making a difference. And it's really exciting to bring them here. I didn't know so much about this couple until I started to read about them. And, from time to time, you see those CNN heroes and how exciting that is. They grab your heartstring. Well, today we have two people who are heroes. And I've recently read about Camden, New Jersey. I don't know if anybody has ever heard about Camden, New Jersey, but to me, it was just New Jersey. I had no idea what was happening in Camden, New Jersey, until I started reading about Tawanda and Robert Jones. Camden, New Jersey is one of the poorest and has one of the highest crime rates in the country. And you have these two people who are seriously making a difference. They are seriously CNN heroes, and they seriously deserve it. So let me welcome them to our show, and for you all out there, let me introduce Tawanda and Robert Jones. Hey there.
Thank you. Hi, how are you? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. It's nice to have you here. So, Tawanda, I want you to tell what you're doing, but you've been doing this since you've been 15 years old.
Right.
right?
I've been doing this since I was 15 years old, and let me just move back a little bit. And it was actually kind of funny because I actually went to go be a part of a drill team, but there were a lot of young kids there, and I really didn't want to take part in it because I was the oldest one there, you know. And one of the ladies said that I had leadership, abilities that I should just be in charge of the organization of the drill
What
team.
do you mean by the drill team for some people who have never heard of a drill team?
Well, drill team is sort of like stepping, like a sorority or fraternity, like they do in college, by clapping your hands and stomping your feet and come up with some type
Your
of
show will
rhythm.
go live in 5 seconds. 4,
Whoops. Don't worry about that. Go ahead.
Okay, and so that drill team thing, it became a way of life to me. But what made it so unique was because a lot of the songs and the things that we were creating, it was all about uplifting our city. So at first it was just, just dance and stepping. But I felt like at a young age, I wanted to do so much more because the teen pregnancy rate was, very high as, when I was a teenager, and I just wanted very much a part to try to decrease that or just give young ladies, something productive to do. And also young men, because they take part as far as playing the drums.
Right. So, and have you always lived in Camden, New Jersey?
Yes, all my life. I've always lived in Camden, and there was a small time. I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix this.
That's okay. Just bear bear with us. Look, I
Okay.
just want to say something.
Yes,
Something
ma'am.
is better than nothing. So when you see this, and they're working off of their iPhone, is that right, or a phone, a tablet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's better than nothing. At least we're getting to be part of this, and we're getting to hear this message. So she may sway a little, he may rock a little, but who cares, right? At the end of the day, it's that we got to know them, they got to know us, and we hear this great message. So go ahead.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So, so the young guys, they take part also. If they're not dancing, they're playing drums. And it just became so big overnight. I mean, we've been doing this for 27 years. Robert and I are high school sweethearts. We've been going out ever since we were 15 years old. And he's always been a huge help and a big part of, my success. I mean, it takes a lot, especially to deal with the guys in this area, because if you're not bouncing the ball or a rapper, these kids think that you can't make it out of the urban communities.
Mm-hmm. So you've worked with how many kids?
The guesstimation is over 4,000 children. We've been doing it for 27 years. Currently, we have 323 young people, and the ages are from 3. We even started an adult class, but they're 3 all the way to college-age students.
Mm. And so you cover all kinds of things with these kids. I mean, they're doing the step, but they have to maintain their grades. They have to do community service.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a whole thing going on, right?
Absolutely. With growth and maturity, this really doesn't have too much to do with drill team. This program is actually about saving lives. Mm-hmm. When they first come into the water tower, because we practice inside of abandoned water tower and one of the roughest neighborhoods in Camden, and the first thing that they must do is their homework. And we have mentors and tutors that come in and, assist them with that. They even have me and Mr. Bam help them with their homework. They just can't come to me for math. But we help them with their homework. They have to maintain at least the C average, 200 hours of community service hours. They can even find it. Their parents can find it, or we can search for some community service hours. Because what's important to me, those community service hours, those are life-changing experiences. When the young people, when we go to the homeless shelter, it's a wake-up call for them, and the community service hours is like my favorite part. Mm-hmm. And it's very successful, and it works because our rate in Camden is 49% graduation rate. And in our program, 100% of our kids have graduated and gone on to college. So that's something to be very, very proud of.
Wow. Robert. Hey there, Robert.
Yes.
How you doing?
Doing fine.
So you've been doing this a long time, ain't you?
Yes.
So what is the thing about this that, what part of this is your passion?
Well, to see the little young kids, because most of the young girls and the young guys today, they don't have no father figure or no male figures positive that's in their life. Because I had one guy tell me that me and my wife was the only two positive people that he knew that was part of our organization. So for me, it's to give them that little wisdom that they need to talk to them, to let them know what's going on a daily basis, like what let the young girls know like what guys want, what they're looking for, so they can be more in tune and not be bamboozled by a guy, and let the young guys know how to become men and what the steps they had to take to become young men. I mean, it's just more than just hanging on the corners and hanging with your friends. And for the girls, it's like trying to get them to have their heads on straight so that they won't take no nonsense from no guy when they meet one, so they already know like what they have to do. I mean, that's like my pride and joy out of all this. Outside the percussion section.
Right. So you're responsible for that part.
Right.
So your part and Tawanda's part, you play together. I mean, for shows and stuff.
We more like social workers, psychologists. I mean, we do all that within the drill team with the children and some of their parents. So we cover a variety of things. We just don't have the titles like we did with the hardships and everything.
Right. But you don't need a title.
Right.
No, absolutely. Who needs titles?
I mean, really, honestly, I mean, it's just words that people make up anyway. So right. I want to ask something, not ask you something, but I do want to make a comment about what you're saying, Robert, because I know that even men that I know who grew up without a father, it was really a big deal to grow up without a father. And I think what you just said touched upon an emotional string for me, because I think so many men have grown up without a father, and I mean their direction gets all out of whack, whether they are fathers themselves, husbands, workers, just self-esteem, everything. I think we have a caller. Hold on just a second, okay? Hello? Hello? Okay. If you call in and you get disconnected or something happens, call back again. 919-518-9773. Or remember, computers, 2K voice. We'd love to have anybody call in with any kind of experience or just anything you want to share. So that's so important, Robert, to help these men, because they grow up to be, men and with problems. So I bet the two of you can walk through the streets of Camden feeling like so good about yourselves.
Yes,
absolutely. And we walk with no fear. There's a Camden in every community. And the point that I'm trying to make is that, we can't be afraid of our children. They are our youth. These are the kids that are going to take care of us when we get older.
Right.
So it's very important. It's very important, to get them on the right track, early, at a very early age.
Right, exactly. No, I think it's the fear that keeps us from loving somebody, right? So if you're showing these kids love, that's all they really want anyway.
That's all at the end of the day, because when you have a child that never was given love, so they grow up not knowing how to receive love, and then they become rebellious, and that's how you get most of this crime between the men and the women. The young girls be lost in their directions. The young males be lost in their directions. So we just show them a little tough love. I mean, my wife, she's like the sergeant of arms. And she gets
Robert,
on
let me
these
interrupt
girls.
you just a second. Turn your phone sideways or whatever, the tablet, so we can see. Yeah, let's see if we get a better shot of both of you. There you go. There you go. Okay, great. Go ahead. Okay, so tough love, yeah.
It's what my wife gives them, and I do too. We don't try to be hard. My wife is, I guess we're their second parents outside of their parents. And a lot of the kids, they talk to my wife, and a lot of them talk to me. I mean, and some of their parents get upset at that, but me and my wife try to tell them, you'd rather for them to talk to us than going outside and talk to somebody else and get the wrong advice. So,
right.
I mean, that's what it's a part. So a lot of them is receptive to that, and a lot of them open up to that. So it turned out to be a good thing for us.
And it's a good thing for the two of you together for your relationship. You've been together a long time.
Right.
Absolutely. It's a lot of sacrificing and everything. And actually, recently, my kids brought to my attention about a year ago about how jealous they used to be when I would spend so much time with the drill team and everything. And I thought just, we were just one big happy family, because they are my extended family. But then when my kids, started seeing some of the hardships and different things that the children go through, they were like, wow, mom and dad, like, we know why you do what you do. I mean, practice starts at 5 o'clock, but it takes me about 45 minutes to get started because I have to give each and every last one of these babies a hug or a kiss, some type of affection to let them know, I'm here for them.
That's the most important thing. That
Absolutely.
after you do that, they can do anything. Robert,
Absolutely.
do you hug and kiss the boys?
Nah, handshake and give them a hug, let them know. No kissing.
Yeah, the boys are a little different.
Yeah.
My little 9-year-old, he don't even like to be kissed, so we do handshakes and hugs.
It's interesting because yesterday I was watching a special on Mr. Rogers. Do you remember Mr. Rogers? He did, a lot of people grew up, a lot of kids grew up with Mr. Rogers. Now they're adults, which is important. And, one of the things about Mr. Rogers, which you're reminding me of just watching and listening to you, was he made every kid feel important. He made every kid feel like he mattered and that no matter what the kid did, that he was important and he could change whatever he did. Okay, we got a caller. Hold on one second. Hello?
Yes.
Hey. Okay.
Hi.
Okay, whoever this is, can you turn down the volume of your computer or walk away? Because we're getting kind of an echo.
Sure.
Perfect.
I sure can.
Perfect. Hey, are you there? Okay.
Hello.
Good.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, and yourself?
I'm good, thank you. So who am I speaking with?
You're talking to Shakira Rowland. I'm actually one of a former member of, continuous member, you might as well say, of Cam, the Sophisticated Sister.
Okay, we're still hearing that. We're still hearing that the sound in the background. You might.
Okay. Now is that better?
Yes, much better.
Okay. I'm actually a former member of Cam, the Sophisticated Sisters. Actually stepped with her, and she's actually really been a second mom to me since 1996.
So you started out at what age?
I started out at 15.
Uh-huh. And that was in 1996.
Yes. I actually started a couple months before I turned 16 years old. It's so crazy because I remember every single thing that she has ever taught me, that she's ever said to me, that she's ever even instilled in us that I've actually passed on to my own children.
What are the things you remember most? Like what was one of the things that she said to you that impacted your life that you just think about all the time?
Always to be a woman and a lady first.
Ah.
Always to be a woman and a lady first. It was times, she had that tough love. She had that extreme tough love that a lot of people were looking for. My father wasn't a part of my life for a major part of it. But it didn't seem like I lacked anything because I had them. I had Tawanda. I had them to the point where she actually taught me how to be a woman, how to be a mother, and always remain that, no matter what goes on in your life, you never let anybody pull you down. If you have a goal in mind, go for it. I became a teenage mother and now I have my master's degree in nursing.
You have your master's degree now, you said?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
And you're a mom.
She's amazing.
And you're a mommy now.
Yes, I'm a mommy now. My oldest is 17. It's actually funny because I couldn't step anymore because, how they say a mother knows. Without me even telling her, she knew I was pregnant.
Uh-huh.
And she told me, you will always be my baby, but you will not step on this floor until you deliver that baby. but I always went to my practices, and each and every time I ever seen her, either during that time as a teenage mother or after the fact when I became a nurse, throughout my adult life, she was never, ever turned her back on anybody that she's ever put her heart out there for. Never.
Wow.
So once you're a part of her, she's always a part of you. So it's still things that I go on through, like teaching my teenage daughters. You know, it's about community service. It's about giving back. And not only do you have a responsibility to yourself,
Yeah.
you have a responsibility to your community. You have a responsibility to remain always humble.
Well, you're
And
a very
it
smart
starts
woman.
at home.
You're a very smart woman.
Oh, thank you. And I had those two to think. You know, sometimes they say goes against all odds. Mm-hmm. And so they made sure that I did not become a statistic in a bad way.
And I'm sure you
in a good way.
And I bet you could have become a statistic.
I very could have been. I could have let the city kind of suck me in. I could have let the city kind of do some serious damage to me. I could have allowed that to bring me down. I could have allowed that to, you know, somebody get in my ear and say, oh, you're a teenage mom. You can't do this and you can't do that. I could do anything. And she always made sure that, you know, no matter where she is, no matter what she's doing, she could be doing 1,000,001 things. But if we call or we come to her and say we have a problem, everything pretty much stops.
And you know what, honey? You are a statistic. But a good one.
Yes.
A good one.
And it's there. She'll always be a part of me.
Good.
Just know her.
Good. Good.
She'll always be. We actually, you know, made sure we allowed her to know how much that she meant to us when we did a tribute to her not too long ago. But it's, you know, we just wanted to make sure, and I wanted to make sure that she knew just how important
Good.
she is to me.
Well, I really appreciate you calling in. And
You're welcome.
And I'm so delighted to be able to share not just, their story, but yours as well. Because, you know, it's important for people to hear this. And forever and a day, for always, we're going to need to hear these kinds of stories and connect with, you know, people like you all that are doing the walk and talking the talk.
Well, as long as Tawanda and Robert, you know, have the support of the community, and even if they didn't, they'll always do what they've been doing. So once you went to your life, it's pretty much, you know, you have a family for life.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and I wish you a happy and healthy New Year, and much success to you and your children.
Thank you so much.
My
you
pleasure.
Have a
you too. Thank you, honey. So what are you thinking about Tawanda?
Oh my God, I get chills because it's kind of weird hearing about yourself. But, you know, I get weird. I actually know who that young lady is. I had her and her sister. And like I said, you know, I kind of have a quick flashback of some of the hardships that the kids were going through when they came through the program during that time. And it seems like each generation is harder and harder. You know, every time I think I've seen everything, here comes the new wow factor, you know. But I appreciate her so very, very much. I really do.
So we have a couple of the pictures that you sent that we want to show, but I want to ask you something. You just said with each generation, there's a new wow factor. So
yes.
Do you have to change, or you just keep doing the same old loving thing? It's just the wow factor has changed.
It's not even really adapting. I would have to say I would stay the same. With my husband and I, we're very spiritual people, and it just takes a lot of prayer, you know, and a lot of guidance on our part, because we have to get ready spiritually. And yeah, you know, we see the new hardships that are coming in, and all the different things that are going with the young children. I think the thing that sticks out to me the worst is that child that's 11 years old, but she has to be a mother to her 9 siblings, and they're living under one roof, and she has to cook and she has to clean, and she can't be a child because she has to be an adult so quickly. You know, those are the kids that I kind of like cling to, you know, because I'm trying to give them their youth back, you know, but it's very hard. It can be very trying sometimes. That's why we have to constantly stay prayed up. So
is that the wow factor, that the kids are coming in like that, 11 years old, being the mom? Is that the new wow?
We've lost a few girls to violence. We had a young lady that was shot, by her father. We had another young lady that someone used her as a human shield when they were shooting not too far from where we practice at, and she was gunned down. So, you don't get used to it, because these are kids, for God's sakes. They're not in the service, but every day they're fighting for their lives. Mm-hmm. And it's up to us to protect them. We have to be an advocate. We have to be those to protect them. They spend an awful lot of time with us Monday through Sunday. We even take them to church on Sundays. Saturdays, we're out enjoying ourselves. If we're not having a booking, we try to do different things, take them to the movies, skating, whatever the case may be. But we just want to show them that there's other things out here. I think the best you would say probably the college tours, because a lot of them, there's some that didn't even have a clue about the college life. So that aspect of our program is very important also, because it allows them to travel. And this is what you can do. You don't have to become a statistic. Get out of your element. Stop being comfortable of where you are. You don't have to be stagnant. You don't have to be here. I would love for you to leave, get your degree, just like that young lady did. She got her degree, but she returned back to Camden. See, we need those good people to do that and come back and uplift our city. Not move down south or go away further, because if every good person leaves Camden, then it will always remain this way.
Exactly. Well, and Steve on our chat was asking, and you answered some of that, if you take the kids to the local colleges, hospitals, police stations, fire stations, local businesses, all of that kind of stuff.
We don't stay local with these babies, I could just flip a coin and say, hey, we've never been there. Let's try that place. But we recently just went to Colgate College in Hamilton, New York. And I couldn't believe that one of the young ladies said she wanted to go there just because it was clean. I said, are you serious? What do you mean just because it's clean? She said, because the grass is so green, and she just was in awe with this campus. It was a beautiful campus, and she was sold on just the cleanliness out of itself, and that's just crazy to me.
So it says, let's see, 42.5 in 2011. 42.5% of the city's 77,000 residents are thought to be living below the poverty line. The median income is $21,000 in Camden. How is it different today? Do you know?
Well, I don't know exactly, but I can say that Camden looks like, it just feels like we had that black cloud over our city for so long. And we're seeing a little bit of progress. To me, it's moving slower. We need more people to care and actually show that they care, especially for our youth. As you can see right there in the pictures, this is our everyday life. This is what the kids have to
so
walk around.
We're going to show those pictures now. So, are you, okay? Yeah. Okay, so they're on now. Yeah. And
right.
Here we go.
That's across the water tower right there.
So this is a home where some of the kids live? Are these homes?
Some of the kids live next to a lot of abandoned areas. And we also practice right across the street from where this picture is. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of drug dealers that are, right there in that area. That's a memorial for a young person that was shot there. And there's bottles of liquor. This is how the young people memorialize someone that was shot. If one of their friends, and this is how they show love by signing that sheet back there and leaving liquor bottles there.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
Oh.
So, okay, what are we going to say, Robert?
I said that's Dancing with the Stars they're looking at.
That's what? Say that again?
When they was on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, yeah. So tell us about that.
Oh, God, that was absolutely incredible. For these young people to go to Hollywood and be from Camden, New Jersey, that was just so insane. And I tried to take them on every tourist attraction there was. They got a little tired of me because they were saying, Mom, Wawa, we're so tired. We're so tired. I'm like, but there's more to see. But after we spoiled them a little bit when they went to Hollywood, they asked, what did I want, when we get to Hollywood? And I said, believe it or not, I just want to walk Rodeo Drive. And they said, oh, we're going to go shopping. I said, no, sweetie, we can't afford Rodeo Drive. We're just going to walk Rodeo Drive. You know? I did buy a stick of gum on Rodeo Drive, so I was pleased.
So tell me how the whole thing came up about CNN.
Well, CNN, I was actually nominated by a young lady that was in my program. Her name is Destiny Bush. And I was so in shock because when Erica, one of the producers, called me from CNN, she said that, you were nominated by a young lady, but she never told me who it was. And I'm like, wow, I wonder who did this, And they were, I'm telling you, CNN is like the FBI because they dig, and, they just want to make sure that they got the right person, that, nothing comes out crazy or anything. And when they finally told me who did this, and I'm like, what? Oh, my God, I couldn't believe that she actually did this. And she started telling, some of her hardships and, how her and her family, her mother and her friend, was into domestic alcohol abuse and things like of that nature. And there were some things that Destiny was going through that I didn't even have a clue about that she disclosed to CNN. And it was just, I will never forget that night as long as I live. It was such an honor. Everyone was so welcoming. They treated the girls like superstars. They were so spoiled, and it was just an experience. And the people that were also the CNN heroes, they were just some incredible people, and we all, are going to continue to stay in touch and try to support each other's work. And that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. And my babies actually had an opportunity to perform on CNN, and that real little one that you see right there lives in that area that you were showing, right across from the water tower. And these young ladies are just so special to me. And that whole performance, that whole night was just beautiful.
It's just so chilling. I want to show the video you sent. So we're going to show a little bit of the step video. You ready, Maestro? So your drummers are in the background, Robert?
Yes.
Uh-huh. This is very cool. I love, a while back, and I was telling this to Angel, a while back I went to do some work with some high school kids and their families. It was called, it was a drug and alcohol day at one of the high schools. And I went as a mediator because I'm a Superior Court mediator, and they wanted to talk about mediation and, conflict and that kind of stuff. And they had breakouts, and very few people showed up. It was the step team, maybe a couple of parents and a couple of administrators, and pretty much that's all that showed up for the day. So I went in my little breakout room, and in walks the entire step team. The entire step team into my breakout, into what I was going to be talking about. And I asked them why they came. Why did all of them come? Well, they thought that they misread that I was a mediator. They thought it was about meditation. And I will never forget that as long as I live. And this was in Johnston County, Smithfield, which used to be called the home of the Ku Klux Klan.
Absolutely, yes.
They used to have signs up, and all of these kids were, they were black, they were Hispanic, and it was amazing to me. They didn't have any bookstores in in this area at that point. They couldn't go get any kind of tape about meditating or anything. They wanted to meditate. So I said, forget the mediation, we're meditating. And that's what we did. And these kids, they knew what they wanted. They knew what they wanted. And I was blown away. Yeah, it was incredible for me. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if you do any of that kind of stuff with your kids, but they really had an interest in it. So just throwing it out to you. I don't know if you spoke about spirituality, and I can understand how the two of you so need to refuel, because you give, and this is the other dynamics about you being such a great team, is that you give so much, and then you have the two of you to come back to that where you both understand what you're going through. So you're both you're both extraordinarily special, that you can even stay together as a couple and be there. I mean, I'm sure, Robert, you're there for Tawanda, and Tawanda, you're there for Robert, because you both need to rejuice. You can't keep going out and giving, and coming home and giving. You have to be able to give and take, right? So how does that work for the two of you?
Well, we've gotten a lot better over the years as far as spending our quality time together. He actually had to pull my cards a few times and say, all right, now, I miss my wife. And that's when I say, okay, let's do something, even if it's just a quick weekend getaway or something, but we've gotten a lot better with that, and church helps us out a lot. It helps us out a lot amazingly, but you're absolutely right. As much time as you constantly keep giving, you need to do something where you have to get replenished. So we understand that now. And I think, as we get older, we're starting to, slow down a lot of things. Our daughter is starting to do a lot more of choreography, and you can tell, like, we planted that seed in our children. And I know this program is going to continue to live on, and, we leave a legacy behind, so I'm not worried about that at all. It has to, definitely continue.
Robert, what do you have to add to what she just said?
Well, I think she summed it up all in a nutshell. I mean, we just take one day at a time and give everything that we have, or we deal it to God and rely on Him for the final answer. I mean, that's what we do at the end of the day, and we just keep being who we are. Don't change. You got to be the same way every day, because when you deal with people, they want to know that who they're dealing with is the same person every day and not somebody different. So that's what we try to do. We try to be the same person every day for whoever we come in contact with, and don't be no wishy-washy people.
That's right. Because kids can really pick up on that. They can pick up on that. That's why I love them, because they're so honest. But if you're not a decent person or whatever, kids, they smell it. They smell it. They know. They know good people. They know people who aren't, what they're cracked up to be. But
right, and
we're in this for the long haul.
I can tell. Well, you've been in there for so long already, and it's important for you also to be able to count on yourself, not to jump around and be all over the place. I mean, you have to know what to expect of yourself and what you're able to do, and if you jump all over, you can't do that either. And then you're good for nobody. And you're like the. I'm not going to say the diamonds in the rough, because you're not rough, but in the vicinity of where you come from, you are diamonds in the rough. And that rough needs you. You can't, you got to keep doing what you're doing. And the fact that you can pass it along to your children, that's really the trick right there. So how old are your children?
My daughter, she's 23. Robert, he's 17. He'll be 18. Help us all. And we have a 9-year-old.
Wow. Wow. Help
so
you.
all of them,
what?
all of them are very creative. My daughter, she does the choreography. Robert, he does all the sound and engineering, music. And Raekwon, the 9-year-old, plays every percussion, from quads to quints to snares and bass drum.
That is amazing. Oh, my goodness. Robert, you got a smile on when you started talking about your kids.
Yeah, because they are active, and they are unique in their own little way, and they all contribute to what me and my wife do. This is a family organization, and we run it like a family. So everyone that comes in contact, we want them to feel like, make them welcome, and make sure that they know that they're part of this family also.
Mm-hmm. Really? You're right, and it takes it, doesn't it?
People always ask me, they say, how many kids you have? I said, 3. They said, no. how many kids do you have? I said, oh, you talking about the drill team kids? I said, oh, over like 400 or 500. I don't know, a couple thousand. He said, I stopped counting.
Mm-hmm. That's fab. Exactly. And it takes understanding the kinds of work you do, the kind of work I do. I mean, it takes people to, like my husband, for instance, he's very much of a proponent of what I do, I mean, for the most part. And you need those people in your corner, because you can go out there sometimes and you don't know you're making a difference today.
Right.
Sometimes it looks like everything's falling apart. Then all of a sudden, you wake up one day and you see that miracle right in front of your face.
Absolutely.
So what?
You are
good. Say that again.
No, I was just agreeing with you. I was saying you were so right.
Mm. So do you ever go away on vacation or anything like that? I mean, how do you ever leave?
What?
Our anniversary is the only time we really try to get away from the kids, and that's in July every year. That's the only time that we really get to go on our own, and we leave our daughter. Like, we could go away on Friday this week, actually, for the first time.
Yeah,
we'll be away.
For the first time. We were actually, and the only reason why we're going on this trip is because we were actually nominated. It's by Cabot Cheese, and it's a celebrity cruise. And I thought it was a scam. And these wonderful people are sending me and my husband on these islands. We've never been anywhere, so to actually go on a cruise and stay for 7 days is just incredible. I cannot wait. I'm really going to lose my mind a little bit because I like to keep in contact with all my drill team kids and, my own children. It's going to be a little hard to adjust, but I think I can manage.
Well, you get gifts along the way, I know. Even when you don't expect it. That's what makes a gift, I guess, is when, that's what happens. So Chris has a question for Tawanda and Robert. Why do you care so much, and what life experiences establish that helping set of values in both of you, especially at such a young age?
Well, as far as me, I would have to say it came from my grandfather. My mother was a teen mom, and I was left home with my grandparents, an awful lot. And he instilled love in me. And he told me, not to look at a person's color, their background, where they came from. You have to love, and you have to love until it hurts, love unconditionally. And he's always instilled that. The same thing with my grandmother. They always said that I had an old spirit at a young age. And I can remember when people would just travel through town, being in my early years, and my grandmother, if they needed a place to stay, my grandmother would open up their home, her home to them. And that's normal in our household. If there was a troubled youth or someone in need or whatever, we would open up our house to nothing. And I just love to give. And I promise you, when you give selflessly, the blessings that come, they just constantly just overflow.
Oh, we turned that off.
Oops. Just as that moment, oh my goodness, I know they'll be back. But they'll be back. But she really is speaking from her heart when she talks about the blessings and how it comes back to you. Okay, here they come. But blessings do come. No? Okay, they'll be back. Blessings do come back to you. And I don't think we do the work for the blessings, but it does recharge us. And I don't think it's the wrong thing to acknowledge it. To acknowledge the successes that they have. The kids that have made it, like the woman who called in before. Those are the kinds of things that we want to pay attention to that help you keep going, because every day in the work that they're in, you're faced with life and death every day, of little kids, of big kids, of, parents, tragedy every single day. And to be able to keep an upper lip, to be able to keep your spirit going, you've got to acknowledge the powerful work that you do. And I think that's something that people should do. It's not an ego thing, because there is a big difference to how it comes out and how it feels when you are doing something from your head as opposed to your heart. Let's see. So Karen says, Tawanda and Robert are making a quantitative difference in Camden's safety stats. A message for all of us. Absolutely. I mean, I would imagine that in the long run, it takes a long time to make a difference. One by one maybe, but when you look at the long run, over the long haul, I guarantee you, Karen, you're absolutely right, that they are making a difference to the stats. And it may not always show up, but it's definitely there. And Amnon, you asked a question here. You said, why didn't you move to a safer place to live, especially with their kids?
I'm wondering.
That's a good question. And I'm guessing that they're embedded here.
Right, but when you have your own kids, somehow your priorities switch, and with them it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's
it is interesting. It is interesting, but I think but she's been doing this a long time, and I would think that she sees the good.
She must.
She sees the good, and they did never run away from the work that needed to be done. And I think that if she would to leave with her own children, she would not be the person she. No, she would be sending a different message. She wouldn't be doing the kind of work she's doing. So anyway, here I am. I'm waiting for them to call back, and I know they will. They must have lost their internet or something. It is Camden, New Jersey, anyway. But let's call me at 919-518-9773 or computers 2K voice and share with me how you feel about the show and what are you doing or who do you know that is doing things like this, because there are people all over. This is the thing. There are heroes all over. And I think we don't spend enough time sometimes focusing in on those heroes. But they are all over. And as Tawanda said early on, there are people in all kinds of communities doing all kinds of things. And one of the questions I have for her when she comes back is, what kind of community work are the children choosing to do? I would love to know, where their hearts are. What are they looking to create for themselves in the community? Here they are, right? Yay! Welcome back. Oh, they left again. Oops, they'll be back. These people are not going anywhere. Okay, we have a caller. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Okay, call me again, 919-518-9773, or computers, that's plural, 2K voice. And Tawanda and Robert, if you're hearing me, why don't you just call in yourself if you're having trouble with the internet? Just give us a call so that we can still speak to you and get some good information about what you're doing. But I know they'll be back. So what are people doing? And this is a time of year when people are thinking about those kinds of things. New Year's resolutions, new goals. I mean, what difference are people making with what they're doing? I think it's very interesting to kind of check it out. And this morning, I saw a quote. Somebody on now? Hello?
Hi, this is Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
I've been listening to your really inspirational show that if you can imagine 1 out of 10 people dedicating their lives the way that she has and her husband has to others, to helping others, what a better world this would be. And I was just looking up a little bit about Camden, New Jersey. It is one of the poorest cities in the United States, with over 60% of their residents on welfare. Morgan Pinto named Camden, quote, America's most dangerous city in both 2004 and 2005. And it's so poor and so dangerous for people to live there with the high poverty rate, that the average household is earning just $18,000 a year.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine what the school systems are like. They don't have the funding. They don't have the teachers, the best teachers in the country. But she has turned the tables around and shows the rest of the world in her state that if there is hope. And I think that's one of the best messages, that there is hope even in the worst situation.
Yep, and some of what you're saying, I wanted to make a comment about, because she said earlier, they want people to come back, just like that woman who called us, who was part of their team, went out, got her master's in nursing. They need those people to come back because they,
Yes, I agree with you. It's like a person who gets a scholarship to go to medical school, and then they come back, they finish their training, and then they go back to their home,
right,
where they need to repay, for the people, for what they received.
Exactly. Here is something that Chris posted on the chat. Hold on, Debbie, just a second. From a CBS interview that they had, Tawanda Jones of Camden says no child should be written off. She says they all have the power to be sophisticated and distinguished citizens.
Yes, they do. And I think that's what shines through, that she believes in these children. And in today's world where everybody is not only just complacent, but they're not active physically. And the fact that the expression of exercise, movement, rhythm, everybody can get into it, and you can see that it's a group effort.
Yes.
That all these kids are, they're in a community. That's what she's building. She's building.
Debbie. Yes. Yeah. Hold on. They're back.
Good.
Hold on, Debbie.
Turn
the phone around.
There
you go. Are you there? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me something. One of the things Debbie was on and we were just kind of chatting, but one of the things I want to ask you is what kinds of things are the kids choosing to do for their community service?
Oh, well, as far as the community service, a lot of the kids, I usually pick their community service. A lot of times our kids like to visit the Muse, Faison Muse. It's an older folks home that's not too far from where I live. The Ronald McDonald House. They fall in love with the shelters. They really love the shelters and like to provide coats for the women and children shelter, because we have quite a few here in Camden. So those are some of the things that are like their favorite things to do. Mm-hmm. I also like to implement the cleanup and the neighborhoods and everything. That's not their most fun thing to do because they're kids. They hate to clean. Right. The Rutgers. Rutgers colleges and everything. So we try to intertwine with a lot of the college kids also and come up with different community service.
That's good because it's kind of like you're doing multiple things at once. They're cleaning up their community, so they get to have pride in their community. They work with college kids, so they get to have a mentor and they get to see, how other kids, they can respond to other kids, and they get to see their gifts. So Amnon was asking also why you, when you had children, and why you didn't just pick up and go, why you stayed.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that one more time?
Amnon was asking, and I gave him an answer, but that was just my answer. Once you had children, and it's such a dangerous place to be, why did you stay and not leave?
Because, someone stayed and they cared about me. I didn't want to bail out. I love this city, and there's so many talented and gifted people here that genuinely care. It's not everybody in Camden that's tarnished or that's into the violence and all the negativity. There are a lot of good people here. Some people are they're here not out of they don't leave out of fear. Some people want, better for their families, and I can understand that. But I'd rather stay and fight and make this a better place, for my family. I refuse to live in fear. Like I said, there's a Camden everywhere. There was a portion of my life where I left for a quick spell when I went off, to college, and when my grandfather took sick, I was compelled to come back. But it was the craziest thing. When I was away, it felt like I needed to be back home. It wasn't like it was a crazy homesickness. I felt like I was more needed here than anywhere else.
Right.
And I still feel that way.
And I can understand that. I mean, I sort of answered for you, and I figured the philosophy of what you would say was there, but I could never say it just as good as you did. Never.
Oh,
never.
yeah.
So unfortunately, we're getting to the end of the show, but I want to thank Angel. Chris made a note on our chat to make sure that we thank Angel so much. Angel works with you all, and she was as sweet as sugar.
Yes,
and look, and that's why her name is what it is.
She's our angel.
She is a beautiful person.
Sent from God.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Love our angel.
Yeah, she is an angel. And I want to say Suziani, who is one of our angels, who's always on our, in our chat, she said, "What a great show today. Tawanda and Robert are great role models for all of us. Tawanda, your love shows. God bless you for staying and making a difference instead of fleeing like most people do."
Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much.
So tell us what people can do for you and how they find you.
Well, they're more than welcome to go to our website at www.cssdrillteam.org. You can like us on Facebook. And we're always looking for volunteers and mentors. One of our biggest goals, we're trying to get out of the water tower because there's a lot of leakage in the water tower. And there's one way in and one way out. And we're looking for a home. So I pray that, we'll be blessed with a building soon. And just keep us in your prayers. That's the most important thing.
So the water tower is where you practice. And do you pay for that?
No, the city allows us to use the water tower for free.
Okay. Do you need supplies?
Absolutely.
Cleaning supplies.
We could use a lot of cleaning
trash
supplies.
bags.
We're always, buying notebooks and pens.
We need help with transportation. We need a whole lot of help. My wife don't ever say it, but we need all kinds of help.
So are you the voice of reason, Robert?
Huh?
Are you voice of reason?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I guess
we need a whole bunch of help, and in any form, fashion, or shape that anybody can help us, it'll be greatly appreciated. I mean, I don't know who can do what. Even the little thing that they do can help. I don't care if they want to take over, getting in contact with other people for us, by way if they make donations through the website or through PayPal to sponsor a child. I mean, there's so much that people could do. They go visit the website, or they could call Tawanda personally at 856-383-7984, and they could talk to her.
Okay.
On the telephone.
And what we're going to do is we'll post all of the show notes in about a day or so, and so a lot of this information will be there. You can go to MarilynShannon.com. You can go to our Facebook page, Breaking Free. You can go to the Breaking Free page, and you'll see all of these notes with the numbers and all that. And I would ask you also to go to our Facebook page, The Breaking Free Show, and like it, and put up a wish list.
Okay.
Okay, and then we can share it some more. Okay?
Thank you so much for that.
Sometimes people don't come to you. You got to push it out. So if they don't come to you, we'll help push it out. How about that?
Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much for that.
It's our pleasure. And please connect with me anytime. You can click above my head here and connect with me, write me. I'd love to work with anybody on coaching, business and personal coaching, life coaching. I work with kids as well. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. And also, Debbie wants you to have a wonderful cruise. Enjoy your anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And one question for you.
Yes.
When did you want to come to Camden and visit us?
I'd love to do that.
Please do.
I'm going to dance. I'm going to step my ass off. Oh, excuse me. Excuse
The
me.
water tower, I'm telling you, it's a whole nother world.
I'm coming.
People love to have
How close to Marlboro are you?
With Marlboro what?
New Jersey.
Marlboro.
I don't know. That might be up North Jersey. That's closer to New York, isn't it?
Yeah, it's real close. Where are you located? Where's Camden?
We about an hour and a half from New York.
Okay. When I come up, I have a lot of family in Marlboro. I'm going to come up and I'm going to call you and I'm going to come. Robert, thank you. Oh my God, you just turned me into something. Oh my God, I'm coming. I promise you, I'm going to come. Okay?
We're looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I would not have thought of that on my own, but now that you mentioned it, I'm coming.
Right now.
Thank you. Thank
Can't
you
wait to
very
have
much. That'll be wonderful.
Still on.
Okay, and when we go off the air, would you please stay here for a minute? Amnon wants to connect, okay?
Not a problem.
Oh, that's wonderful. And to everybody out there, thank you so much for spending the time with us. We know it's special and precious, and I know that you got something from it, from my heart to yours, from them and everybody else. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays, 9 a.m. till noon. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays, 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays, 1 till 2 p.m. Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety. Download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by thatvidblasterguy.com, carolinaapparel.com, and deltaforce.net.